Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Whine with Ana Belaval. The background noise is courtesy of my son and my husband, who is trying to take my son out of the picture. Because why? It's Wednesday Whine. Y hoy estamos no de a vasito, sino de a botella. I was going to save this bottle for today, but then CPS hadn't announced what they were going to do with our children and going back to school. And then they said, we're going all virtual. And I had to pull the emergency string on this bottle and have some yesterday. My apologies, but this bottle, I'm going to put it right here. This is courtesy of my friends at Bottles and Cans in Lincoln Square. It's not like I'm being sponsored now, but these guys gave me 3 wine bottles last week for a benefit that they were doing and I was promoting. This is delicious. This is delicious. This is Gulp Hablo. And it's perfect for today, right? It's an Italian white wine, and I love Italian white wine. And so I'm going to pour a little bit because it's Wednesday Wine with Ana Belaval, and I am doing so well. Un chingma. I am doing so well today that I thought it was Thursday. Yeah. If you follow me on social media, you saw that I did a very moving Throwback Thursday until somebody said, oh, you look great. What great memories. Ana, it's Wednesday. And then I switched it to Way Back Wednesday. I got an answer for everything. I've got an answer for everything. So Wednesday Wine with Ana Belaval. I'm so happy you guys are here. Let me know where you're saying hello from and what are you drinking. Hi, Joe and Debbie and Victor. Patty, I'm glad I don't have to deal with the school mess. My condolences and sympathies to the parents. Salud. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to see everybody here. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Today, my Wednesday Wine is with 2 of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Also, mothers of children in the Chicago Public School. Everybody, welcome your favorite, my favorite, Lorena Diaz.
Hi.
And Wendy Mateo.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
That was on purpose. Did you see that? Click, click. That was
Muy
on.
bien hecho.
Mira, people are watching us from near St. Louis, from Little Village. Lucy, salud. Lucy's always with us here. Ana Hernandez. Ladies.
Oye,
Hi.
we're all taking in that the children will be with us forever.
The children will always be here.
Okay, so Lorena has a teenager going into high school. How is she doing with it?
My daughter is actually really kicking butt. She's one of those weird cases that has actually thrived in this COVID environment. She brought her grades up a letter she was already doing really well, but she just did even better because there's nothing to do. There's no boys to obsess about. There's no whatever. It's literally just being a good student. And then she harasses her teachers until they, give her the grade she wants. So she'll be a politician when she grows up.
Finally, the comadres.
Hey.
Let me tell you one thing for sure. I have not figured anything out since the last time we spoke because I need this trio in order for me to solve the problems of the world. De todo el mundo.
This is very true. I've been missing you. We've all been busy in our own little corners, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either, and I don't like Wendy. Lula's going to kinder or first grade.
Kindergarten. Yes, kindergarten. I'm just gonna as long as I keep her alive and healthy, I'm gonna take it as a win for the year. For the whole year. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Good job.
Como una planta, like a plant. Just make sure you water her, feed her.
You know?
Eso.
Yeah.
And mess her up real good so she grows up to be a great artist.
You know, that's the other thing.
Con un poquito daño.
Yeah, exactly. If I know what I know about artists, she's gonna need some hardship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they have us as mothers. They're going to need therapy already.
Well, of course. They'll write their one-person show about it.
Yeah.
And,
It'll be nice.
And the world goes on.
My 13-year-old, almost 13-year-old, is mad that she has to spend more time with us. But when I enumerated the annoying people that she can't stand at school, she was like, touche, mother.
Yeah.
You're like, yo no estoy aquí para tus llantos.
You know, I remember my mom saying when I would snap at her, which was not often, she would say, "No, you hurt my feelings." And I'd be like, she's a grown woman. Why is a teenager hurting her feelings? Twice she's hurt my feelings. Twice. Where I've been like, no.
Today. In your experience.
In the quarantine. Ay, gracias. Is that what I'm looking for?
Yo no sé dónde anda tu niña. Yo no sé lo que le pasa.
Solo oyo.
Oh my God.
I've gotten my feelings hurt by my daughter.
I know.
She's been, and it's unexpected from her because typically she's just always telling me how in love with me she is. But then one day I was like, hey, what was I talking to her about? Oh, yeah, you'll see. The Sound of Music. And I was trying to explain to her that the dress that Maria wears when she comes back from the nunnery or whatever, is the same dress another woman wore. And I was so excited that I had figured this out because these are the kinds of things we do on COVID now, right? Like we hyper pay attention.
Really analyzing Sound of Music from 45 years ago.
Sound of Music or whatever the hell you're watching. Your reruns of Game of Thrones. I don't know what.
And you Google.
También. And she goes to me, I was like, isn't that cool? And she's like, I mean, if you think it's cool, I guess. Not really. I was like, whoa. Who let the angry New Yorker in the room? What the hell's your problem? I told her to get out in the way that like Latina moms dismiss their kids when I'm like, you know what? Go to your room. If this is how I don't want to look at your face. You know, when you used to get that. No te quiero ver la cara.
Yeah. Talk about getting hurt. You'd be like, it's the only face I have.
I know. There's certain things that when you repeat them, you go, wow. And we didn't have issues. Porque mira que bien salimos.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing great. But I never understood, like, why is my mom all like choked up because I said something to her? And this one, I don't know if it was the tone of voice or what she said. And I was like, and my husband came home and I said, I don't want to see her. She hurt my feelings. She's like, she did what? And I said, she hurt my feelings. I want to be outside. Last birthday. I don't know if this has happened to anyone who's watching us. Share your hurt feeling stories with us.
Please.
And we will virtually slap the crap out of your kids.
Yeah.
And we will tell you how wrong they are because before they were born, you were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And before they turned teens, you were smarter than them.
Totally. Yeah.
So it was my birthday last year. And I don't know if this happens to you guys, but they managed to Father's Day, Mother's Day, my husband's birthday, and my birthday at some point throw a tantrum or ruin it for us because it's not about them.
That's super fun. Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Like super fun. So I said, I don't know what happened, but she got really rude because they're always annoyed that I don't want to celebrate my birthday in a huge way. This was 2 years ago.
Same.
Like, why can't it be a production? Because I don't want it to be a production because I have to produce the production and then clean after.
Yeah.
Right. So she was super rude and she didn't want to do whatever I wanted to do. She wanted something bigger and was very mean to her father too. And I said, so the birthday hasn't happened and you already ruined it. So the next day I disappeared on all of them. My husband's like, I canceled the lunch we had with my friend and her kids because I did not want to see anyone's kids and not mine. It was my girlfriend with her 2 kids and me with my 2 kids. And I said, no, I don't want to be around any children. No. And then my husband said, would you like me to take you to lunch? And I said, no.
No.
I'm going to be alone. So I went to the Regal Cinemas where they have a bar, and I bought myself some nacho con queso and a glass of wine, and I watched by myself Crazy Rich Asians, and they didn't know where I was.
Mira, tú sabes qué? You're being classy. Okay.
So let me ask you
that's the right
something,
way.
because I did notice. So this was 2 years ago. So in response to that, then last year was the year that Amelia threw you the deck party.
Yeah, that was nice.
Okay, so it was in response. Ya veo. ¿Cómo
tú
son
ves.
las
Qué
cosas?
bochinchera. You saw
Yeah.
us piece that
Yo
together?
estaba.
Wendy's always.
And that day she woke up.
Siempre.
And that day she woke up PMSy and was like the entire party like this. Until like my girlfriends were like, come on. But I see.
No. But then when you posted the pictures on Instagram, she was all like,
Yeah, the Instagram post. What is that Instagram post that all the kids do? They're like, like they're in mid motion.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that?
It is. It's a social media post. It's
no. So now that the idea is that they're going to be in this box with me.
Yeah,
I was talking about, like, does anyone else feel trapped again? I feel trapped again.
I was going to ask you guys, do you guys want to buy a house in this neighborhood? We've been trying. We try every few months.
Yeah, to get her to move. Just come here.
Come here.
God. You got that one friend that's like, yo no me voy del city. Yo no me voy del city. You're like, it's not even out of the city.
It's still city limits. Yeah.
Like a highway
like
and
a
a lot of
hole.
exits. I like my hole. I like my balcony. I go out. I call my balcony my patio.
Yeah.
But
no.
Like I feel like I don't have anything to look forward to.
No say. I think that you were like a queen in a past life, and you're not used to first floors of things. You have to live in the sky.
I just
in the castle.
No, I always think that a perpetrator is gonna come and kill me.
Me too.
That is.
Is that just the product of like mid to late 80s movies where they just like kidnapped women all the time in films? Is that why I'm so scared like that?
I don't know. Because my mother. My mother in New York, before she would walk out of the apartment door, she would look through the peephole. A ver si había persona, and then we'd go.
No.
Yeah. No, that's
See, when my dad would travel for work, my mom would grab all the knives in the kitchen. I'm talking steak knives, butter knives, the block of knives, and she would bring it and put it next to her bed. And then she would lock herself and me and maybe my brother. Maybe she left my brother out. I don't remember. But we would all sleep with my mom, and she would lock the door. And I said, Ma, why are all the cuchillos in here? Para que el pillo no los encuentre.
What's happening?
I have to admit, I had a lot of boyfriends when I lived alone because I didn't want to be alone. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I never lived alone. So
well, see, that kind of brought Wendy and I together. Because Wendy was like a out in the world person, and I was a stay in the house person. And I have real fear about being left home alone because I was a latchkey kid growing up. Mm-hmm. And also when I was like 13, one of the boys in my neighborhood would climb over the fence and then peep through my bedroom window and watch me get chased. And I didn't know. And I didn't know this was happening because, you have those blinds that are like, I call them Miami blinds. They're like the cheapy.
Venetian. People like to call them Venetian blinds.
Que se doblan.
And then they like stick up at
the
end. The cat keeps going through them and bends it. Anyway, like they wanted my attention, so they started knocking on my window so that I knew that they were there. I don't know how peeping toms work. I'm not going to pretend like I know how that works. But it scared the bejesus out of me. I didn't like being alone. And so I would try to keep Wendy home all the time. We are not married, Wendy and I, by the way.
No, sorry, guys. I'm sure.
But it's going to sound like we are.
Eventually, they married other people.
We did.
Eventually.
Yeah. We married best friends so that we could then...
Just in order so that we could be together.
Is that for real? Did they know each other before?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're as friends as long as we are.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. How cool is that?
Bien cool until the things don't happen in la casa como uno quiere y olvídate pues, and then I start complaining to Wendy that she, didn't do it right.
Yeah.
That I didn't do it right, that she didn't do it right, that
No,
we run away together.
Neither of us.
Together. So are you thinking about, like, Lorena doesn't have to worry, okay? Angie is perfect, and Angie will study on her own.
I got Tito, and he's,
Sí, pero Tito's a baby. You don't have to educate Tito yet.
I don't know, girl. I'm just trying to keep him alive. Which is, yeah.
Wendy, you can throw in the towel. Like Sweary Mary told me today, but why don't you say F it to the whole year?
Right?
I mean, whose standards? That's what I'm saying. Like, let's rewrite these standards, y'all. Like, whose standards are we abiding by? Like, the kid has to be in junior year by 17. Like, okay, I mean, let's just flex the parameters,
Yeah. Well, these are uncertain times, and we have to figure out
in these uncertain times.
So I have, because I live where I live. There, I have a lot of friends that, like you guys, work full time, right? Mm-hmm. But they have to go to an office, right? And they would have to let their husbands take care of the teaching, and their husbands already threw in the towel the first time. So my friends and I are thinking of getting a teacher that teaches the kids, like in a pod, right? Like 4 kids separated and kind of have a little escuelita.
Yeah. Sí.
But then my cousin, porque siempre aparece mi familia.
Siempre hay uno.
But are you guys going to quarantine and commit that none of you are going to be traveling around? You're not going to be able to go to dinner with your girlfriends because then you can bring something home to those kids that you don't. And I was like, oh my God, good point.
Yeah.
Is it a good point though? Because if COVID doesn't kill me, having to have my children in the house like this, me va a matar. Y no me digas, do not come to me and tell me that I shouldn't have had children if I didn't want to take care of them, because that was not the social agreement.
People are
children inside of
that.
People are saying that. People are saying that. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Even stay-at-home moms need a break.
I'm over here. I'm like, I'm not in 1200 BC. Okay. Right. We grew up in a time where we thought, I'm having a kid, and then the kid goes to school at 5 y ya está bueno.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened here.
No. So stop it with that. And I want to say that you should find your she shed.
The she shed. Yeah.
You should. And I've been like connecting with the women in my neighborhood, because I don't know if this quarantine is going to shut us down again, but the way that we're going, right? And I want to have women in my neighborhood that I'm like she shedding with, that we have. We're get together in an open garage, and we can just desahogar and get it out. And
we already convinced one of our friends to move over by us, Ana, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Bueno, I have I've got my support system here too. We've met and drank together and helped each other out. And these are the women that are thinking about like doing the pod together.
Okay.
But here you run into another problem. Like, if they're going to sit my kid in front of the computer and teach him, I'm golden, because Alex can sit there. Whereas a friend of mine, her kid is not going to sit there in front of the computer. Someone's going to have to sit him there, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like different needs. And then how much it's going to cost us. Y además, I think we're going to have to get an Airbnb so we can be alone somewhere.
Who's we?
The kids?
The women's.
Oh, the women. Oh, okay. I'm like, who? I
haven't been alone in my apartment since March.
No, but well, that's the curse of the COVID. But look, all you can do is make the best of it. Reinvent the whole wheel for yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't feel bogged down in other people's. There's always going to be the person that's like, but what if? And it's like, but what if gay? What am I gonna do? If I have to go out and pee in public, me lo voy a aguantar hasta que llego a la casa. It's never going to happen. I'm going to wet my pants. So at some point, you got to stop and use the public bathroom. At some point, you're going to have to do X, Y, Z. It's not as, I have my son in daycare locally in my neighborhood. It's a small in-home daycare. And look how I pushed that it's small and indoors and in home y todo eso, pero todavía it's like a social agreement you're making with the people that you're sharing. There is something that came up recently, though, that I want to share with you guys and with whoever's in the room with us, because it was a great idea. My friend Cruz had, we're all artists. Wendy, we're all artists. And we know from our artist community that there's a bunch of artists out there that don't have work. There's no theater. There's really not a lot of TV and film y todo eso. And she pitched the idea of hiring an actor, an artist, to come and do, like, for $25 an hour, shared between 2 or 3 people, 3 hours por ahí, to come and do like art with the kids or do whatever the thing is, so that you have coverage at home, somebody that commits to working with your family in that way, and they're going to be COVID careful. And I thought, what a great way to like bring in the art and bring in the music and bring in the games and the playfulness that you may not have time to do. And a lot of these cats would probably be really happy to have a little bit of secured income,
That's a great idea. I know that, I have musician friends. I interviewed one the other day. He's a saxophonist. Is that how you say it?
Uh-huh. That's how I say it.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not good with those.
Saxophone.
Okay, good, because I also say Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But it's my second language.
Claro.
See, look, Miranda says she's going to move by us.
Is that who's moving by you?
Yeah.
I
No,
know.
but we're going to keep
That's
adding.
another one.
We're
It's
gonna...
another that we're adding.
Okay.
We're-
That you don't want to
Sonia says, Curse of the COVID sounds like a movie.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a movie
And
of my
then-
life.
I had Elvira says exactly, focus on the big picture. Stop worrying about the now. In the long run, it'll all work itself out. Everything in nature always does.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
I
They said
talked
the
to Lula about it. I was like, listen, we're going to do an adventure year, and we are going to learn however we learn. We're going to learn from nature. We're going to learn from documentaries.
Sí, pero te está poniendo mucha presión, porque ¿quién va a caminar en nature con ella? Tú. ¿Quién va a tener que pintar el dibujito? Tú. ¿Quién va a tener que... O sea, nena, no empiece, because your daughter's like mine.
Listen, Wendy is a Pisces mother, and she will paint the most fantastical, wonderful picture for her child that she needs to.
Mira, Lori, share. Wait. Here we go. Veronica wants you to share the contact of the art person. I would love to give it as a gift to my nieces.
I love that
my
idea.
God.
Okay.
You know what?
I love it.
Lori will give it to me, and I'll post it later.
Yeah.
Great.
I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, we're going to pull together some teaching artists. Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you?
we'll do
That
that.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because we need it too. We can all help each other. If there's anything to learn about what's happening right now, if y'all believe in the universe and that kind of thing, then this is the time that we have to take care of each other, and you think about all these like things that are happening. Wear your mask, not just for yourself, but because for other people, so you can take care of other people, so they're not catching this shit from you. That kind of thinking, I'm like, that's where we have to focus in on. Who's on your block? I have 2 women on my block that just had babies. That they need some women. I'm going to go knock on their doors and be like, you need some wine? I got wine. Let's go to the back.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's hang out. Let's
That
keep
is
each other
so
sane.
important. That is so important. And
Yeah.
just finding, like, at the beginning of quarantine, we were all super overwhelmed. And I have a friend who's a dentist and still wanted to practice dentistry and be of service to the community. And her offices are on the north side and on the south side in 2 spots that were very affected. So she's in all her PPE, and then the other one works for a hospital. So she was really overwhelmed. And I just brought wine and muffins for them one day.
Yeah.
You can do all you can for the people around you. You don't have to stretch yourself thin.
No.
It's like what our friend Mikey always says: help with what you have. And around.
Right. And that's my big message to people right now is be social off social, and reach out to those people literally within your block. I bet you a lot of people have been living next to their neighbors for the last 20 something years and they don't know them. It's never too late, man. Reach out, say hi, talk to people, look people in the eye. Like, people are desperate for a connection, and who better than your neighbor that you can social distance from the backyard and, hang out and have a talk. That's what we've been doing. And so I don't feel this as much because I've been really purposeful about finding ways to connect with others.
I think my problem is that you guys do too, but I don't know when I'm going to see my parents physically again. I don't, my dad said not to come until there was a vaccine, which can mean that I won't see my parents for a year and a half. Touch them, hold them, and so my mom has Parkinson's, and so it's that is hard. My uncle just died in Miami. I can't drive to Puerto Rico. I can't go to Miami because that is the center of COVID now. Yeah. And we're a very close family. My cousin who lives in Florida was going to come see her kids here. Well, that can't be done. So that physical connection, that's hard. That's hard for me, right? Even our family in the suburbs, we were going to have a pool party, and my husband said, "You're working around town. Let's keep the probability of contact of contracting this to us, because you don't want to take it to where his family lives in Buffalo Grove. We have to be mindful."
Yeah, you got to. It's just, it's our time to be in. That's just what this is. And not for nothing, you guys, but I'm sure a lot of us were feeling before COVID, I know I was feeling it. I felt like pulled in every direction, and this time has forced me to sort of slow down and assess where I'm at in my life and how I feel about things. And, not everybody has the privilege to take a moment to, look at yourself and look at your life. I know a lot of people are out there hustling and working and doing whatever the hell they have to do to provide and put food on the table. But even if you're on the toilet, if that's your only time to think about yourself is when you're sitting on the toilet, mommies, take the time and take that time for yourself. Don't let the kids in the bathroom to talk to you, coño.
No. Lock it directly after.
Look, Julia,
I agree too. I mean, I think that, for all of the heaviness that is being felt all over there, I don't want to go back to my pre-COVID life. I learned a lot about my self-worth, about what I'm going to put forward in the world, what's worth it. And what's not. And saying no has been super easy. And that's been something super freeing too. Yeah. As an artist, as a person who hustles different things and different careers at the same time, it's been really nice to be like, you know what? No, my time is really precious here and I don't have time for that. So, I'll see you on the flip side with that one or whatever it is. But
and it's natural.
I want to recognize, Lori, before you move on, I want to recognize Julia Marquez because she's feeling overwhelmed. She's a registered nurse in Rockford. They haven't announced e-learning over there, but she knows it's coming and it's going to be very hard on her. Absolutely.
Julia, you know what? Women are incredible and we are going to get through this. You're going to take it one day at a time, and there's going to be days that you're going to want to cry, and you know what? You better cry, because there is nothing better than getting in your shower or getting in your bedroom and closing the door and sobbing it out. Eso, ¿cómo se llama eso, mami? A good cry.
Un lloriqueo. Un buen lloriqueo.
Con jipío y todo. When my girlfriend, one of my girlfriends just had a baby, and she called me. She was texting with me back and forth, and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing better. I just kind of sobbed just now." And I'm like, "Good for you." That's what you need, coño.
Yeah. And the kids are resilient too. I also, I've been seeing a lot of people being very worried. And of course, that's what we do. We're moms, we're parents, we worry about the kids. People who don't have kids worry about the kids. Listen, the kids are resilient. If the women are, the kids are even more so. We don't know how this is yet going to define their perspective on life. We don't know yet. Of course, you're trying to mitigate all of the things that could happen to them and the negative impacts, but we don't know yet of the positive impacts of this. And how there were kids that grew up during the Depression, that grew up during the Spanish flu. They were strong people. Those were the grandparents and the great grandparents that, so I don't know. I think it's a lot of it, of course, it's tense and it makes you
Yeah.
feel heavy sometimes, but at the same time, like, we just got to trust that we're human beings that have been through a lot in the
Yes.
time that humans have been on Earth, and
Yeah.
like all the things that people have fought through and gotten through. And
Mhm.
we have so much comfort and information right now
Yeah.
that getting through this, with my Netflix and with Beyonce, thank you, and with all of the things that are there to like be there. The artists have been the real like heroes of this narrative, because while we can't control the science and everything that's happening, the artists have really lifted us through this time. And like,
Yeah. Now I'm doing Zoom meetings with people that like know artists that know every trick in the book that Zoom could possibly have come up with
yeah,
in order to do their play reading the way that they want.
Now,
I've been
now
impressed.
oh, now
yeah,
now I'm an expert on
yeah, yeah,
emceeing galas and doing productions on Zoom. Like I'll tell people, no, you're
yes.
gonna the audience. You're gonna start saying that they pulled out. So
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh my God, now I can do this with you guys. Like
Yeah.
I was so busy before, I wasn't gonna do anything digital.
No,
Now I'm
no.
finding that awful word called my brand and all that kind of things. And I'm investing in parts of my career that I wasn't investing before.
Right.
Yep. I've realized, and I knew this, how lucky I am, as much as I complain about them, to have my kids and to be able to hug them and to receive support from my 13-year-old who will, if I'm nervous about stand-up, says, you're going to do great. The people there want to see you. I can run my stand-up set with her. My son is great company, that kind of thing. To be able to hug them, to have my husband be supportive and say, let's invest money in that and see what happens with what you're doing. So I'm discovering that, but I do miss my old life. Because the way that I relate to people and the way that I do my work, this is very hard and very disconcerting. But I have found also, I now honor my value, but I've learned that from you guys. I've not, I just learned that from being with you guys. But I've also realized that, like, I run into this all the time. People wearing their masks under their nose, and I'll be like, yep, put that up. Yeah. Put that up. And I'll tell them, I don't want people to criticize you, but I'm like, masks on, everybody. Like,
yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah. You find the obstacle or you find the opportunity, but you will find one or the other.
Espérate, voy a escribir eso. Espérate. Sigue
I
hablando.
like Kristen. Yeah. How do you suggest nonprofits raise money right now without in-person galas? Like, that's the other thing too. Like, we also have to redefine how we raise those funds, and were they inclusive? Like, a lot of the times I would get asked to do these galas, and like sometimes it just felt like, are we helping the people that you're trying to help? Because aquí la gente está with their heels in their hand and their glasses of wine.
Oh, when you were in person? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like sometimes it would feel a little like the gala for the whole, like it felt like, unbalanced. And like, maybe this is a more fair way to do it. Maybe this is I know with Broadway plays, like, with Hamilton, it gives people access. Who could afford Hamilton? I was lucky enough to have a friend that worked in the crew that we were able to go in Chicago, but there was no way I was going to be able to go in New York at the time, with the plane ticket to New York and the $200 ticket a piece, $400 ticket a piece to get a nosebleed seat there. So in some ways, like, we're giving access to people who wouldn't normally have access to these spaces. And what does that say about us? Like,
well, I mean, to answer the question more directly of like how to reinvent those wheels of like fundraising for a gala, I think a really good thing to do is, again, and Facebook has so many artist groups and of Chicago. There are so many people out there. Again, they don't have work right now. Videographers, editors, just artists, talent. Wendy and I are actors, but we also write, we also conceptualize, we think things up from scratch. If you guys are stuck on how to reinvent your wheel, whatever that is, then reach out to the artists, bring 3-4 artists to the table and say, I have to come up with a new way to do this. What do I do? Because you asked me how to reinvent a fundraising event, and 18 thoughts just came to my head to give you. So we get used to one way, but it's not the only way. And people are learning how to get their entertainment on different platforms. You have things like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Then you have things like Twitch that are up and coming, live streaming things, Facebook Live. There's other ways where people can gather within their family, in their home, to take in and consume your product.
And people are so willing to help, especially if it's for a good cause like that. Lori and I just directed a piece a few weeks ago, and the artists were all in. I mean, as soon as we just told them like the log line of the concept. So people they have the time, they have their equipment, their supplies, and they also are innovators. Artists have always been innovators in a lot of ways. So we are always thinking, how do we do it? How do we get audiences in? How do we do this, do that? So it's just kind of reframed our thinking in a lot of ways. So
what do we do?
We're here.
Now that you got, but I know you guys, this is what supports you. So people have to remember when you ask these artists, just be mindful that you are taking their suggestions or their ideas and using their talents, and try and pay them something. Try and throw something at them, because all of you were underpaid before this when we were doing the gigs, and we have learned the hard way that we have to charge, because these ideas are valuable more now than ever. And I have friends who were training us online for free, and eventually we were like, what's your Venmo? We got to send you money. What is you're not a charity, right? So you have to, maybe you're not going to pay them what you could pay them if there was a gala at the Hilton or at a venue in the South Side, but something that
even if it's literally sending them a box of pizza that will cost you no more than $15 or $20. Like that does a lot for an artist who's hungry, that wants to participate and wants to help. Like Wendy and I are in a position where we can do stuff for free sometimes, but there are people out there that are like, it's a muscle. Your artistry is a muscle. And if you're not using it or putting it into action, then it starts to get a little dull. So people really will open up to you and want to participate in your thing, just to keep their muscle fresh, to do something good. And then if you can feed them or pay them, that's the right way.
Feed them or pay them. Well, I love a comment from Chicayala. Women are forethinkers and always try to overthink the being prepared for what ifs and what fors. We are trying to stay in control of anything within our reach. Ay madre. It's true.
Yeah.
True.
We were, bestowed by God and the universe to be the get shit done people. So that's what we do. We get shit done.
Yeah. And the more you find other people like you, the better, right? Because then we get shit done.
Exactly.
We get so much done.
I want to give a little love. The script supervisor for Chicago Med is here with us today, Mary. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. She's also one of the most beautiful redheads that I've ever met. She's really cool, and she's joining us. So besitos.
Oh, Mary.
I love you, and I can't wait to see you.
This is Mary Beth. I see her redhead picture.
Yes, Mary Beth.
Oh,
yeah, she's the best. She's my Chicago Med lifeline.
So for those people who are not famous like you guys, like what's going on with productions?
They are all kind of looking right now. We have a couple of things over at CineSpace, which is our big, production studio lot in Chicago. There's a couple things that are starting. There is a lot of COVID-19 things in place. The producers from all these various shows have had to take classes and workshops that teach them how to abide by COVID-19 safety. And they also, a lot of women involved in that kind of work, have been bosses and amazing and doing whatever they have to do in order to help get that set up. So they're seeing how things are going. We have a tentative start date on Chicago Med for the One Chicago shows. That's looking like end of September, and we're all crossing our fingers and hoping that people wear their masks and stop behaving stupid, and we'll be able to open for business again.
And the union is there. The union has been really just instrumental in making sure that the performers are taken care of, the actors are taken care of, the crew is taken care of. So the unions are really on top of it, and they wouldn't put folks in a situation that would, that would put us in danger. So people are really, they're really on top of it, and I've been feeling very cared for by the union and by all of the producers here in
Same
Chicago.
here. And they're still doing the work of like trying to, SAG, for example, which is an amazing union, is still hustling for its actors, trying to get them better deals and things just on regular things that would be happening right now. So all that stuff is really good. But for artists out there that are not working in that just yet, or they're still reaching for that regular or guest starring role or whatever, like just keep producing, find places to get out there and do your artwork online, streaming, whatever you have to do. Just go and keep your muscle fresh, and don't wait around or think it's not going to happen and you can just relax. Like, you're an artist, keep moving your muscle.
And there are so many classes available, so many people offering conferences that you would have to pay so much for, or
Sundance.
it's priceless.
Sundance is offering an amazing list of online courses.
The writer I had last week,
Yes.
who wrote The Taste of Sugar, she said it. She's like, there are authors that offer classes that I would have never thought I could class with, and you have the time now to do that.
Right.
And Wendy, I know that you have worked as an artistic director at Looking Glass. That's what you were doing before this happened. And a lot of our theaters have gone virtual too. You guys have produced a short film too for Looking Glass. Tell me about that.
Yes, it was called Sunset 19, and it was written by J. Nicole Brooks, who wrote Her Honor Jane Byrne, which was a show that opened on March 8th and closed on March 12th. So it was
1919, right? 1919.
Sunset 1919. Yes. J. Nicole Brooks is a native Chicagoan. She is a social justice warrior, an artivist, as we like to call, and they were already on track to do a commemoration of the events of the race riots of 1919 and what led to that, which was a boy, Eugene Williams, was swimming in Lake Michigan and sort of swam over the whites only blurred line in the
invisible
lake,
line in the water.
Invisible line in the water, and that became the spark. He was drowned actually because they attacked him on the lake shore, and that became the spark of the 1919 race riots that not only were here in Chicago but in 5 other cities across the nation, Washington D.C. being one of them. So she wrote this amazing piece, and she reached out to me, and I grabbed Lori, and we linked arms with a really amazing crew, and we were able to do it. We were able to film. We just kept thinking about, kept it really simple, kept the story really simple, really challenged ourselves. How do we tell this story with 2 people, 3 people in the piece? And we're really able to make it happen. And so I'm hoping to encourage my fellow artistic associate siblings and ensemble siblings in Looking Glass to let's think about how we bring our stories like that and continue to bring our stories like that. And you know what? It does give people access. That's a theater that is on Michigan Avenue that a lot of people didn't know that they could access. There are many programs that we do at Looking Glass that gives a lot of access to audiences that wouldn't normally have gone there. But even now, still challenging that and saying, how do we give access to these audience, to these stories?
Yeah. I mean, this is perfect obstacle opportunity kind of conversation, how you view what lens you're looking through that day. And we're all human, and we all fall into the pit of like despair, and that's totally normal and okay. But like, I try to think about the fact that I'm an actor, and part of being an actor is fighting to get into certain rooms. And right now, nobody's in the room. We're all sending tapes in. We all have equal opportunity. We all can get out there and try. It doesn't have to be having the right manager, having the right agent, having the right thing, because we're all just sitting at home looking for the next. And so
I think it's awesome that we take these opportunities, like, and everyone should know this, that what I do daily would never include interviews with you guys, interviews with Maricel Vera last week, interviews with the woman who
great.
Co-directed the Walter Mercado documentary, interviews
great
with Zahira Dominich. It wouldn't, right? But this opportunity lets me have that chance to sit here, have these conversations, have people get to know us, get to know that there are different voices. I've discovered so many new people, not only doing this, but participating in virtual opportunities.
Yeah.
Last week, I emceed an event for High Tech, which is an organization where it's for networking for high-ranking Latinos in the tech industry. And I met a woman that has established Twitter and Google in Latin America, and now is establishing another company, una venezolana chulísima con unos pejuelitos. And her advice and the advice of the guy that runs Amazon Web in Latin America and how they felt culturally when they had to do things in Asia. You're like, I would never know who they are because I'm not at Univision anymore. And I've never been able to tell their stories because I'm not at Univision anymore, right? And I can tell the stories here, and then the people from GN will go, wait, who did you have? Just like the doctor I had, Juanita Mora, the other day, you know?
Yes.
And so those are opportunities that we get to get our voices heard at every level. Pat McGann, right? That's why Pat McGann is being successful, because Sebastian Maniscalco said, come on, we're going to go promote this during a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
With his stand-up show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been lost in the fray. So this is, giving us a certain opportunity to make our voices heard, porque todo el mundo está callado.
Yeah. And, you know, just to go back to the CPS thing that we were talking about, you know, I know that part of what CPS is doing is pre-recording lessons and lesson plans so that you can figure out as a parent, like, today they don't want to be online, or today they're being assholes, or like whatever the thing is. Sorry. And so, like, you can't do it today, you know? You might not be able to do it Monday. You might not be able to do it Wednesday or Thursday, but you know what the plans will be on Saturday when you're not at work. You know, you'll sit down with your kids con paciencia and try and execute the lesson and try and teach them. Like, it's not going to be only you on you. There's going to be days that you feel like that. You get a good cry. You remember that you're a woman and that you're fierce and you're the boss and that you got this. And then you skip the freaking school lesson and you wait until the weekend and then you catch up then. But manage yourself and take care of yourself.
That's the hardest lesson.
That is a great lesson. I learned that from one of the homeschool speakers I heard, because I was trying to prepare before. I was like, I just felt like I needed to be in control of something. So I did some research on my own. And that was a really great lesson that Lori just shared, that one of the homeschool parents shared. They said, you know what, we do most of our schooling on the weekend because that's when it fits our schedule. My husband's home from work. He doesn't have to be online on a call, and that's where they did the bulk of their learning. And I was like, And like, and that's what I mean. Like, there's a way. We all got into this like 9-to-5 frame, and this is what we've been living in. And someone said earlier with the commute and the thing, like, all of that is gone. So then let's make the most of that time in between and figure it out for your own family.
You don't know until you know.
No, and it's interesting because I remember my son's therapist. Everyone has a therapist in this house. It's all preventive.
Good.
Preventive. Not my husband and I. That's needed. Pero los nenes, they're preventive. So she said, I remember this was like April. She said, look at the piece of paper and see if there are 8 things, choose the 4 you can do. And you tell him that there are 4 things you guys have to accomplish today. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't bite more than you can chew. That you can chew.
That you can chew.
That you can chew.
Now your comadre is talking to you, baby.
See, two and two. So, and I said, oh, I can do that? I can. Y nadie me va a regañar, nadie me va a regañar.
Nadie, mami.
Right, like whose
Nadie.
rules? Your rules.
Your
It's
rules.
our rules.
Your rules. Okay, la comadres, they told you. Your rules, baby.
Your rules. Your rules. Ladies, anything else?
We've got projects that we're working on right now that we'll probably want to, tease it for the next time that we're here. We talked about coming back at least once a month so that we can catch up with you and all of your fun Facebook Live.
We have some things we're filming and doing, and we want you all to be a part of it because it's about all of us here.
Yeah.
Doing what we are doing.
And
also,
I'm also working on an idea of, I kind of teased a little bit of this, but a lot of us are trying to figure out with Black Lives Matter really taking on full steam again with the George Floyd, with what happened with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all these conversations that are coming up. You're hearing a lot about the CPAC and you're like, what is that? And what does that mean? And how do I feel? And I like police officers, but I don't like that this is happening. And you get all confused and you don't know where to start. I'm starting a series where I am talking to different people and learning how to work locally within your local government, starting with your alderman, and figure out how to make changes in your neighborhood, on your block, in a really rudimentary way. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know who my alderman was before this all started. I had never sat down for a city council meeting. Now they're available on Zoom. People are doing that stuff on Zoom. So I'm going to be rolling that out more aggressively soon. But I would love for anybody out there that is interested in learning more about what's going on in your neighborhood and how to make changes, like put a stop sign in, put a speed bump in so nobody runs over your kids. I'm going to be learning all of that stuff and bringing it to you.
Okay, so right here, I'm going to show you what their Instagrams are, and it's pretty much the same on Twitter, right, guys? It's Lorena Diaz. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong spot. I gave it to you guys in the comments, but it's going to be it's Lorena Diaz, and it's Wendy Mateo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On all social media?
It's Lorena Diaz and it's Wendy Mateo on Instagram and by name on Facebook. I'm coming back to Facebook, okay? I'm coming back. I was gone for 4 years.
Take care of yourself. Take care. Be careful in here.
Pero Wendy, ahora qué le vamos a contar?
I know, that's the thing.
I did enjoy getting the filter pinche.
Yeah, getting the screenshot.
Yeah, I love that. I really
see all the receipts.
I feel like, what are we going to
I have an album called Receipts. Para que sepan.
Qué loca.
Mucho cuidado por allá.
Okay. Wendy watches.
And I remember, I got a good memory.
I am going to text message you this that you told me in 2017. Aquí lo tengo.
She remembers.
I mean, you saw how I remembered about the party. So
yeah, I know.
Even when you don't know you're being watched.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Bochinche.
All right, ladies, have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for being with me.
We love your audience, your engagement. We love you all. I love talking to you.
Go get your life, women. Go get it.
Bye. Feel strong.
I love my girls. All right, everybody. So there you have it. It's Lorena Diaz. It's Wendy Mateo. So you can watch them. And just wanted to give one more shout out to my wine, which was courtesy of, what was it? Bottles and Cans. Please don't see how much I've had in this meeting. It was just one glass before my dad calls. And my flowers are from my local florist, Blossoms Anytime. Support your local florist. You know what? I do. I give her my vase and she fills it up and I pay her for whatever she put in there. So that's a great idea too. Watch this. Look. Mira esto. Ahora te enseño que, espérate. Save. Mira para allá. Wine courtesy of Bottles and Cans. And if you guys are watching us on YouTube, leave us a nice comment. Let us know what you thought. And on Facebook, always thank you for joining us. See you next Wednesday on One Wednesday. Let's hope we all make it there.